Good evening. Welcome to Supergroups in Concert. I'm Pat St. John. Within the program tonight will be brief interviews with Steve Perry. I want to ask Steve Perry a question. Steve, what were the circumstances that led up to your audition for the position of lead singer?
Well, I was living in Los Angeles, and I was in a group at that time called the Alien Project, way before the movie was ever around. So I got a phone call from Journey, and that they had decided to add a singer if there was such a singer worthy of adding. So they thought that I was the person and would like to have me give them a call. So I did that, and the next thing I knew, I'm on the Departure album.
Steve, you joined the band at the same point when Roy Thomas Baker was brought in as producer. Now, these two things marked a transition from primarily an instrumental band to a highly mainstream vocal band. What is it that Roy Thomas Baker does with voices, particularly your voice, that gave Journey that new sound?
Roy Baker has a concept of being able to make things sound loud, whether they're playing through a 2-inch speaker or a 18-inch speaker. And the concept is very simple. It just entails multi-tracking, and sometimes multi-tracking with distortion, to give you that apparent size of volume. It's a trick, and we did use them on the Infinity album and the Evolution album, but on the Departure album, we decided to use Jeffrey Workman and our live engineer, Kevin Elson, to do it. So Jeffrey produced it and Kevin co-produced it, and the group had a lot to do with the production elements also.
Drummer Steve Smith joined the band in 1979 for the Evolution LP. Now, you've said that Evolution could not have been done with Ainsley Dunbar. How come?
Well, one of the reasons was Ainsley was leaning towards a different type of material. We were coming up with the Evolution material during that Infinity tour. It's hard to explain what happens when a group starts to grow creatively. Sometimes 4 people grow in a direction together, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes 5 people grow together. Well, in this case, 4 went one way, and 1 just wasn't meshing, and it has nothing to do with anything except direction. Ainsley Dunbar is one of the finest and still will always be the finest drummer, when it comes to certain types of material. But as far as the material goes on Evolution, Steve Smith was just what the doctor ordered, and has made the transition so well from Evolution to Departure, which was another step that needed to be made. So that's why we choose Steve Smith, because he is so versatile in any type of music that you can come up with, and that's what will, I believe, eventually keep this group together for years and years, is the capability to play any kind of music it really wants to. So that was the basic reason for the change.
Departure was co-produced by Jeff Workman and Kevin Elson. Why did the band advance to in-house production rather than an independent producer?
Well, actually, it wasn't co-produced by Jeff Workman. It was produced by Jeffrey Workman and co-produced by Kevin Elson. And we decided to just do it that way because we wanted to capture a different type of energy. Instead, this time on Departure, we just decided that I would do some live work vocals isolated from the rest of the band, but they could see me through a glass. And if they were spontaneous and we captured this live energy, we would keep it. So consequently, we did end up keeping, I think I kept 95% of the vocals that were done when the band was cutting them, the basics live. And there were a lot of lead guitar solos and keyboard solos that were done in the same fashion. So that's one of the reasons why we did do it instead of in-house, we did it on our own.
You've toured throughout the United States, Europe, and in Japan. Is there any noticeable difference in the crowds that come to see Journey?
They're all pretty good. They all like the group for what we're doing, and the difference would only be that in Japan they're a little bit more reserved, but as soon as you jump down in the orchestra pit, as Greg and I did one night, they come unglued. As far as the European audiences, they're just as good as the U.S. audiences, although I personally have a favorite spot, and that is Rock and Roll USA. There's just nothing like America, I think, for rock and roll personally.